Hey, good morning, gang. Happy Tuesday. Hey, so a couple things before we get rolling. Number one, it is Tuesday, so we have Chemistry Live. Now, I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm not going to do anything new for Chemistry Live. There's no lab, there's no hands-on thing here. It's just going to be a check-in for you to get help. So today we're going to talk about calculating pH, which can be confusing, which can be a little frustrating, which can be a little tough. So I want to make sure we have a chance to talk through any frustrations or issues or troubles that you have. Okay. So that's what Chemistry Live is today. It's this morning at 10 a.m. If you check in, I'm just going to be like, all right, guys, what do you have? You tried the pH calculations. Do you need help with it? What do you need? This is just a chance to check in. Okay. If you don't do it this morning at 10 a.m., you can do it Thursday at 1. Okay. So here we go. We're going to talk about pH. Now, we've talked about pH. Remember, that's a measure of acidity. One of the first chemistry live we did with acids and bases is if you remember, we did that cabbage juice lab where we had all the household chemicals, and then they changed colors when we added cabbage. And right over here on the left side were the different colors, right? And some of them are red and some are purple or green or yellow or blue, right? So let's say you got something. So let's say you got something like this purple right here, right? Then you look over here and say, oh, I don't know, it's like a 4 or a 5. And then you got a red and you said, okay, well, that red, that looks like maybe a 1 or a 2. And here's a green, that's probably like I don't know, 10 or 11. And that gives you an approximation of pH. But what happens if I have like two purples? Okay, on the right hand side, there's two purples right next to each other. And so they're both going to be somewhere between 3 and 5. Okay, the reality, they're going to be between 3 and 5. Well, what is the pH of this and what is the pH of that? Uh, you can give a rough estimate, and sometimes that's enough, but sometimes you need an exact amount. When you need a better amount, when you need a quantifying number, there's ways you can do calculations for pH, and that's what I want to show you today. It's not just, well, it's kind of a 3 or it's kind of a 12. It's this, and we can be specific with it. So I want to show you how to do that. Now, in order to do that, you're going to need a calculator. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. The calculator I have is not awesome for this. I have an iPhone. That's what I use. Okay, and I mentioned this yesterday, but if you're doing your iPhone and you got it like this, right? It looks like just a basic calculator, but when you turn it sideways, it becomes a scientific calculator. And you're going to need, whether you have an iPhone like I do, or a TI-83 or a whatever, you're going to need the log button, LOG. And so I don't know if I can zoom up on it. I can. So on this one, the log button's here. Okay. On this one, the log button is here. On the iPhone, they don't have a log button, but they have a log with a subscript of 10. That's the one we're going to use. And I'll show you how to do that today. Okay. So there's a way to to calculate pH using a calculator and that log button. Okay. So, and again, here's the iPhone. This is what I'm going to use. I'm going to use this log with the subscript 10. That's the one I'm going to be using. Okay. So if you go to today's Google Classroom and you look, there's a worksheet on there. It looks like this. We're going to go through it together. I'm going to answer it. I'm going to go through again, as always. If you're going through and go, I can do this, I don't need your help, then just shut off the video and do it on your own. Okay. Sweet coffee. If you need help, just keep watching. Okay, so here we go. So the first 8 are really simple. They are. It says, given the pH or the POH, give the opposite. So if you're given pH, what's a POH? If you're given POH, what's the pH? We talked about this yesterday. We did some questions on this yesterday. All you need for this is this equation. Remember, pH plus pH plus POH equals 14. Okay, so for the first one, if I have a pH of 3, using this equation, right? 3 plus POH equals 14. So all I got to say is, well, 3 plus what equals 14? I'm not a math guy, but hopefully you know, well, that's 11. That is the POH. You're done. You're done. Okay, that's like 4th grade math, y'all. Do it again. pH equals 9. Again, I'm going to use this equation. Right, so here we go. pH, that's 9. Sorry. Plus POH equals 14. Well, 9 plus what is 14? That's 5. Now I got same thing, but I got a decimal point. Well, that's not that hard. 4.8 plus POH equals 14. Now, some of you guys maybe can't do that. That should be a plus here, sorry. Maybe some of y'all can't do that in your head. Okay, well, how do I do that? Well, right, just go 14 minus 4.8. Take your old calculator, figure that out. Okay, I think I can do it in my head. I think it's 9.2. That's the POH. So there's the POH. Here's the POH. Here's the POH. Okay, one more of those. 8.02 plus POH equals 14. Again, if you got to do it in the calculator, 14 minus, why did I do it twice? 14, oh, that's why. Huh. I didn't put that in. 14 minus 8.02. Okay, I think that's 5.98. If my math is right, and I think it is, there's your POH. Okay, well, what happens if I have the opposite? Now I have POH. Well, it's the same thing, right? I use the same equation. Put an arrow in there. So here's the equation. pH plus POH, but now that's 2 equals 14. So what plus 2 is 14? 12. Same thing, right? pH plus the POH, which is 1.7, equals 14. Right, there's my equation. So 14 minus 1.7 is what? Is that 12.3? That's the pH. Same thing. pH plus 10.78 equals 14. 14 minus 10.78, what's that? 3.22, I think. My math is right. I'm trying to do it in my head. Okay. And the last one, POH is 7. Well, that's easy. 14 minus 7. pH is 7. That one must be neutral. If pH equals POH, it's neutral. Okay? So if you have any questions on 1 through 8, Chemistry Live, today at 10 a.m., we're good. Okay? Here we go. Now, the rest of them. Okay, there's kind of a lot on here, but we're flying through this. The rest of them, you're going to need a calculator. Okay, so how do we do this? So here's what I have. I have brackets H plus. Remember, in chemistry, brackets, oops, keep hitting the wrong button. What does that mean? That means concentration. So the way to read this is the concentration of H plus ions is 0.036 molarity. Okay, so how do I do that? Well, to do it, you need, let me go back to this. That's not the right. That's not, okay, we'll just go here. No, we're not gonna go here, sorry. Thought I had another slide with that on there. You need to go negative log on your calculator of the concentration. In this case, concentration is 0.036. Remember, we're looking for pH. That's the power of hydrogen. So what is the power of hydrogen? Well, I have the concentration of hydrogen. So to figure that all I have to do is on my calculator go negative log 0.036, enters. That's it. Now I'm going to tell you, on my iPhone, it's a little goofy. Okay, so on my iPhone, I got to do a little bit different order. I'm going to go, again, it's, what is it, 0.036? Is that right? Okay. I'm going to go 0.036. And yes, I know it's not a working iPhone. 0.036. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to hit that log 10. When I do that, this is what I get. I get a negative 1.44. Okay, now let's go back. Now, I don't have a negative log function on the iPhone, so I do have that log to the subscript 10. That works. All I got to do is turn this into a negative. So if a negative becomes a negative, it becomes positive, right? So the answer is 1.44. That is the pH. So again, it's like this, right? It's like this color. It's 1.44. So I know it's way over here. It's very acidic. This would be red if I put cabbage juice in it. But now it's not like, well, it's kind of one. It's no, it's 1.44. And I could go 1.4436974992327713. I could get really specific, right? This is a much more specific, concise number. All right, it's the same thing, but now I'm actually able to put a calculation to it. Now, if you don't have one of those calculators, if you have one of these calculators, what do you do here? All right, if I have my TI-83 and I have one of those, I would just go 0.036, and then I would go negative, this negative button right here, log, enter. Okay, or if I have this one, I'd go 0.036, I'd hit this button, negative, log, enter. So these calculators are actually a little easier, but if you have an iPhone like me, right, 0.036, log 10, and then you just got to switch to negative. Okay, let's do another one. All right, here we go. So pH again, I have the concentration of hydrogen point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros, 2, 3. So here we go. Point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros, 2, 3, log 10. I get this. And remember, I got to take and change that negative to a negative. So two negatives become a positive. I get 5.64. That's it. Okay, let's try another one. 0.0000778 negative log. Okay, now again, I get a negative, so I got to flip the negative, and I get 4.11. Let's do one more. Now, yesterday we showed you how to do this one in your head, right? If it's a 0.1, if it's a 1, I can just slide the decimal point, but let's make sure it works here. So 0.1, log, negative log. So I got to remember, I got to turn that negative into a negative, which makes it a positive. That's a pH of exactly 1. Okay, So I just found the pH of a solution. So if I'm given the concentration of hydrogen ions, which remember tells you is it a base? These are all bases, right? pH less than 7, less than 7, less than 7, less than 7. Those are all acids. Okay, now, how about this one? It says find the pOH. Find the pOH. Well, how do I do that? I don't have the OH here. I have the H plus. Well, now I got to take what we did on 9 through 12 and put it together with 1 through 8. Okay. Find the pOH. Okay, so we need to find pOH. So in order to do that, we got to go back here, right, and use this one. So first I got to find pH, and then using this equation, I can find pOH. Okay, so here we go. Concentration of H plus is 0.457. So again, right, I can do that. Here we go. In my calculator, I don't know, I can't do it backwards. 0.457 log 10. There it is. So what did I get? I got negative, but remember I got to flip that negative, so it's 0.34. That's the pH. Okay? Just like we did up here, we calculated the pH. Now, it doesn't ask for pH, it asks for pOH. So remember, I got to use this equation. I got to use pH plus pOH equals 14. So I got to plug in 0.34 into there, right? Or in other words, 14 minus 0.34 equals what? When I did it on my calculator, this is what I got. I got 13.66. That's the pOH. So it's a two-step calculation. Number one, you got to solve for pH using your logarithm on your calculator. And then number two, just subtract pH and, subtract the pH from pOH to give you 14. Okay, let's do it again. Concentration, so this can give me pH. How do I do that? That's my logarithm. So here we go. We go 0.0059 log. Now I gotta flip that negative and I get 2.23. That's my pH. Right, so now I gotta use this equation again. pH plus pOH equals 14. So basically 14 minus, here's what I get. I get 11.77. That's the pOH. Okay, now number 15. Right away, you're going to say, okay, here we go. We'll do a, notice it does not give you the concentration of hydrogen. It gives you the concentration of OH. And remember, the definition of a base is the concentration of OH ions. So I'm not solving for pH here. Here I'm solving for pOH. So I don't need to do two steps anymore, right? I can just go, oh, sweet. I can go, here we go, 0.1 negative logarithm. That's my 1. Now that's not a pH, excuse me. That's a pOH. Why? Why is that not pH? If it was a concentration of hydrogen ions, it'd be pH, but it's a concentration of hydroxide ion, so it's a pOH. I'm done. I don't have to do two steps. And same with number 16. Right? It's all queued up for me. I can just go 0.00091 negative log. What do I get? I get 3.04, and that is the pOH. Okay, almost done. Last thing I'm going to do is it says find the H plus concentration given the pH. Well, hey, what? What just happened? I don't know. Here's what I want to do. I want to push stop. This going from pH to concentration, we will do tomorrow. Okay, so I know it says 1 through 6. Forget it. Stop at 16, and maybe I'll delete that off your sheet so you won't even see 17 and on. So we're going to do 1 through 16 today. We're going to stop there. Tomorrow I'll show you how to do the inverse, going from pH to concentration. But today I want you to see, how do I go from pH to pOH, from pOH to pH, from concentration of hydrogen ions to pH, from concentration of hydroxide ions to pOH, and bounce. I think that's enough. So we're just going to do 1 through 16. We're good. So remember, today at 10 a.m., if you need more help, if something didn't make sense, Chemistry Live, boom, let's go. If you're good, don't sweat it. Don't sweat it. Today is just going to be a help at Chemistry Live. Okay? If you need help, 10 a.m., let's roll. Guys, appreciate you. Let's keep rolling. You're almost done. A few weeks left. We can do this. Bye.